honorable guests, welcome back to the World City Summit Mayors Forum. I am your host, Dinesh. The World City Summit Mayors Forum is an exclusive by-invite only global platform for mayors and city leaders to discuss pressing urban challenges and share best practices. The hallmark of the forum is our interactive roundtable discussions where everyone present can share insights and experiences to learn from each other to build more livable and sustainable cities. To facilitate this, we have an exciting agenda laid out ahead of us this afternoon. To kick off the first session, please join me to welcome the chairman for the Mayors Forum, Mr. Desmond Lee, Minister for National Development and Minister in charge of Social Services Integration, to deliver the opening address. Minister, please.
Thank you very much. Very good afternoon to Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. A very warm welcome to the 11th World City Summit Mayors Forum. I'd like to thank all our friends, colleagues, and delegates who have flown in to Singapore from afar. And we want to embrace you and welcome you here in sunny Singapore and hope that you have the opportunity to see our city and to be able to make many friends. In fact, our last Mayors Forum was held in 2019, before the pandemic, and how the world has changed since then. But what remains the same is the vital role that cities and you as city leaders play in rallying communities together for a better future. Because cities continue to be the important centers for economic, social, and technological progress. And they are home to so many people all around the world. And it is precisely this that makes the Mayors Forum so unique and valuable as a platform, because it brings leaders together, not just at the federal, national, or regional level, but also at the city level to discuss local, city, and municipal issues. Practical matters on the ground that directly impact people's lives. In fact, this morning I had meetings with other delegates and being able to communicate on the same wavelength about city issues, Singapore's city issues, issues of other cities, and we found so much common ground to learn from one another. Today, we are privileged to have more than 60 leaders from cities around the world to share their insights with us. We come from diverse backgrounds and cultures, but we share common challenges and we have much to learn from one another. The theme for this year's World City Summit is Livable and Sustainable Cities, Emerging Stronger. It represents our ambition not just to survive shocks like the COVID-19 pandemic, but to bounce back even stronger and more resilient than we were before. We continue to face challenges in the near term. Though many of us are taking steps to move beyond the COVID pandemic, we remain alert to potential new variants. At the same time, geopolitical tensions remain, and the Russia-Ukraine conflict continues. While many of us are grappling with inflation, supply chain disruptions, and the looming threat of a recession. But even as we confront these immediate challenges, we must also keep an eye on longer-term trends that will shape our collective future profoundly, for better or for worse, depending on how we respond. We need to mitigate the risks and seize the opportunities that arise to prepare our cities, our people, and our societies for the journey ahead. Today's discussion will focus on two of these major trends: digitalization and decarbonization. First, on digitalization. The pandemic has accelerated the adoption of digital tools in many cities. We have learned to connect with others virtually much more often. Digital technologies can now do so much, from automating tasks to collecting and analyzing large amounts of data. But to unlock the full potential of digitalization at a large scale and build truly smart cities, it takes more than just technology alone. It is also about how we integrate these technologies into our wider urban systems across different users and support them with the right plans and policies. For example, the Port of Rotterdam uses common digital platforms to provide real-time data to its many stakeholders, shipping companies, agents, terminals, and other service users. This improves coordination and optimizes port calls by allowing vessels to sail just in time. The port could therefore remain fully operational throughout the pandemic and also reduced its carbon emissions. Mayor Ahmed Abu Taleb will share more about Rotterdam's digital strategy with all of us later. Now, here in Singapore, we are also working hard to become a smart nation, supported by the 3 pillars of a digital society, a digital economy, and a digital government. The idea is to mobilize all our stakeholders, our citizens, our businesses, government agencies, and more, to pick up digital skills and make full use of digital technologies in every domain to solve problems, enhance productivity, and most importantly, improve the lives of our people. For example, when the pandemic hit, we quickly developed a suite of digital tools to support our response. These included a mobile app called Trace Together, which allowed us to detect and quickly inform users who had close contact with a COVID patient. Later, we integrated the app with our databases so that users could use it to demonstrate their vaccine status. Such digital tools supported the rollout of our public health measures and helped to keep our people safe. But digitalization also has its risks, which need to be managed. One such concern is cybersecurity. Bilbao, for instance, provides a free Wi-Fi network to its residents, which can be vulnerable to cyber attacks. The city is thus building mechanisms to identify and block such threats and guide residents in dealing with them. The city also provides training on online risks through programs developed jointly with residents. Another important concern is ensuring that everyone can keep up with the changes brought about by digitalization. In Singapore, for example, we are actively supporting different groups who may need more help in their digital transition, such as our seniors and food vendors and hawkers. My colleague, Mayor Low Yen Ling, will elaborate on this later. Now, besides digitalization, another major trend that we all face is the existential threat of climate change. The world needs to decarbonize quickly and decarbonize drastically. And according to some estimates, cities account for some 75% of global carbon emissions. So we bear a large responsibility to help the world decarbonize. In line with the Paris Agreement, many countries have set out strategies to reduce their emissions and even achieve net zero targets. Many cities have done the same, taking into account their specific circumstances. Here in Singapore, we've raised our climate ambition to achieve net zero emissions by or around the middle of the century. These are ambitious plans, and the key challenge will be in navigating the many trade-offs that may arise between more sustainable growth and faster-paced growth, between more substantial sustainability efforts and their potentially higher costs, amongst others. Yet in negotiating these trade-offs, it may also be possible to find win-win solutions and unlock new opportunities. For example, Melbourne's emissions reduction plan aims to reach net zero by 2050 while creating new jobs, spurring more innovation, and reducing domestic energy bills. We hope to hear more from Lord Mayor Sally Capp, as well as other cities at this forum, on how you are charting your decarbonization pathways forward. Here in Singapore, we have launched the Singapore Green Plan 2030, which is a whole-of-nation movement for sustainable development to meet our climate ambitions. It covers almost every aspect of life here in our city, across 5 pillars, namely city nature, energy reset, green economy, resilient future, and sustainable living. We are pushing hard on many fronts at the same time, setting aside more land for nature parks and greenery, deploying many more solar panels on top of our buildings and in reservoirs and water bodies, phasing out cars with internal combustion engines and encouraging more public transport use, decarbonizing our industry and economy, recycling a lot more, and growing more sustainability-related jobs and educational opportunities. This requires significant coordination and collaboration across the public, private, and people sectors. And whether we succeed depends on whether we can galvanize everyone in society to do their part. Many other cities are actively involving their people to drive their sustainability efforts. In Yokohama, for instance, the Yokohama Eco School draws on citizen participation to offer seminars, activities, and projects that encourage eco-friendly lifestyles. Perhaps we can hear more about this from Director General Toru Hashimoto later, as well as from other city leaders on your sustainability efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, ultimately, in digitalization, in decarbonization, and all other things that we do in our cities, we stand the greatest chance of success if we can bring our people together and work towards a common goal. To do this, we need to build trust with our people, involve them in our plans, and put them at the heart of our efforts. Because cities are not just about technology or infrastructure. Fundamentally, they're about our people. The UN Habitat's work embodies this spirit. Through their people-centered Smart Cities flagship program, for instance, they're providing strategic and technical support on digital transformation to governments worldwide. We look forward to hearing more about UN Habitat's work from Datuk Maimunah Muhammad Sharif later. In Singapore, we are embarking on the Forward Singapore exercise to encourage, to engage and partner Singaporeans in refreshing our social compact here in our city. Our shared understanding throughout society about the roles and responsibilities that different people and different stakeholders share. Not just what the government should do, but also what individuals need to do. Families, businesses, community organizations, corporates, religious groups, and others. Coming together to agree on how we each need to contribute and support one another as we move forward as Singapore together. Not just today, but also into the future and across different generations of citizens, from our seniors to young citizens and future generations not yet born. As we begin our Mayors Forum discussions, I hope that we will all share candidly about the challenges that we face and the steps that we've taken to address these, so that we can learn from one another's perspectives through helpful and practical discussions. Let me also highlight that our Centre for Livable Cities is launching the World City Summit edition of their Urban Solutions publication today. This explores what it might mean for cities to emerge stronger and what shifts this may require in terms of the design, financing, and operations. This edition also features our 2020 Lee Kuan Yew World City Prize laureate and special mention cities. You can find a copy of this publication at your seats, and we hope that you'll find it useful. I look forward, as would all of us here, to a rich and insightful discussion today. Thank you, and have a good forum.